Chris Watts was born in 1985 in North Carolina. On the surface, he seemed ordinary, quiet, dependable, someone you could trust. He worked in the oil industry, a structured job that demanded routine and rewarded predictability. He married Shanann Watts, a woman full of energy, ambition, and warmth. She dreamed loudly, loved openly, and believed fiercely in family. Together they had two daughters, Bella, 4, and Celeste, 3. To the outside world, the Watts family appeared perfect. Photos on social media showed smiles, birthdays, vacations, ordinary family moments anyone could relate to. But ordinary can hide shadows. In 2018, behind that facade, cracks were forming. Chris Watts carried secrets no one could see. He was having an extramarital affair, a quiet obsession that collided with the life he had carefully curated. The pressure of maintaining appearances grew silently, invisibly, until it could no longer be contained. On July 13th, Shanann returned home from a business trip. She was tired, eager to see her children, excited for the weekend ahead. She didn't know that within hours her world and the world of her daughters would be destroyed. Hours later, Shanann Watts was dead. Chris had killed her in their bedroom, strangling the woman he had once promised to love and protect. 4-year-old Bella walked in, confused, her voice trembling, asking what her father was doing with her mother. Chris loaded his daughters into his truck. Hours later, 3-year-old Celeste was smothered at a remote location near his workplace. Bella, terrified, asked if the same thing would happen to her. Both girls were disposed of in oil tanks, their small bodies hidden beneath cold steel, while Shanann was buried in a shallow grave nearby. For over 40 minutes afterward, Chris sat alone. The calm of a man who had destroyed the lives of the people he should have protected, masking the horror of his actions. Friends, family, and co-workers still saw him as ordinary, dependable, a father who loved his children. But police quickly began uncovering inconsistencies. Chris initially tried to shift the blame, claiming Shanann had killed the children. He presented a story designed to protect himself, a narrative he hoped would obscure the truth. But text messages, GPS data, surveillance footage, and interviews painted a different picture. Eventually, he confessed. He had murdered the people closest to him, the family he claimed to love. Psychologists later analyzed his behavior, noting a chilling detachment from empathy, a level of compartmentalization that allowed him to commit these acts and still appear calm, ordinary, unassuming. His actions reflected narcissism and a desperate need to control his narrative, to preserve the facade of the life he wanted others to see. Each act was deliberate, each moment calculated. The murders were not sudden fits of rage, but methodical decisions carried out in a mind detached from the consequences for others. The confession revealed the terrifying truth. The man who smiled, played with his children, and interacted normally with co-workers had planned the destruction of the people he claimed to love. Chris Watts pled guilty to the murders of Shanann, Bella, and Celeste. He was sentenced to life in prison without parole. The community grieved, memorials were held, flowers piled high, and social media overflowed with sorrow, disbelief, and anger. The story dominated headlines, not because of the murders alone, but because of the dissonance between the ordinary life he appeared to live and the unthinkable actions he committed. Even with justice served, questions remain. How does a man who smiles, who interacts normally with neighbors and co-workers, commit acts so unimaginable? How do families reconcile the familiar faces of someone capable of such horror? True crime is more than facts and timelines. It is the study of human behavior, the fragile line between ordinary life and unspeakable acts, the darkness that can hide behind everyday faces. Chris Watts' story forces us to confront that line. It asks us to examine the people we think we know, to question the safety of trust, to confront the fact that some darkness can exist where we least expect it. How can ordinary lives fracture into tragedy? How can love and violence coexist in the same person? What makes someone cross that line? Even as we seek answers, the haunting truth remains. Some darkness is unknowable, some motives may never be fully understood, and the questions it raises linger far longer than any answers. In the end, The story of Chris Watts is a reminder that ordinary faces can hide extraordinary horrors, and that understanding human behavior sometimes means confronting uncomfortable truths about the fragility of life, the masks people wear, and the darkness that can lie within.